has he been able to pursue it, and how would you look at it in terms of what are the other things that might be of interest to him that you could probably introduce to him or throw it his way, not really ask him about it, but just maybe, you are reading a book about something that is related to that, or the idea is that when we are doing open learning, we are not teaching somebody to do something, but rather we are practicing what we like, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I mean, my approach would be that, like today I was out fixing a fence
Okay.
because I'm interested in doing that. So, right, I mean, that's not really my profession, but I'm interested in doing that. So
Okay.
the point I'm trying to make is that just practice what you like doing rather than asking him to, hey, what are you interested in? What are you interested in? That's what I would, that's the approach I would take. And say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm interested in this, you come help me with this. And then
Okay.
hopefully he will say, hey, mama, I'm interested in this, you come help me with this.
Okay.
Right? Rather
Okay.
than you telling me, tell me what you're interested in. That would be my approach. But I think I became a little too prescriptive today. I don't know what happened to me.
So, but then I have a question here. Uh, Now, since he's come out from the instruction based thing, and I yet have friends and colleagues who are doing the same schooling, now it kind of gets comparative for me. Ki they have finished so much, so much, so much, so much. The syllabus is over. They finished their exams. Now they'll be giving the 7th standard final year exam, and they are done with it. While I haven't had that kind of thing in terms, neither are we yet into the syllabus thing because we decided not to do it. And neither am I able to, hook on to something which I think, yeah, this is his focus area or this is his passion. So is it pretty time consuming kind of a thing, or I let it be as it is?
Yeah, I think you are thinking about it too much.
Okay.
Yes. Give him space, give him time to figure out it. There's no need to. People at 30, 40 don't find their passion, so there is no hurry to find whatever interest, passion. That is the whole idea. The whole idea is to take time to realize what one likes and what all one likes. It could be one thing, it could be 10 things, and that's absolutely fine. And there is no right age to do open learning. Yeah, Pranav, I see your finger up. Just in a minute. So I see there's no right age. In fact, a lot of us start doing our open learning after we have done our school, college, and all that, right? So it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely great that we the thing is that something has changed in his life, and he will in his own way respond to that. And that's what life is all about. Life is all about change. You live one way, and then maybe you get married, and then you realize, oops, I never thought of life this way. And then you get a kid and you realize, oops, I never thought of life this way. Right? So we all keep kind of adapting, changing, evolving as per where we are. So let's just give him time. That's what I would say. Yeah, Pranav, you wanted to add something.
I just thought I would just add and clarify. So the chart that you saw actually is not like age a defined chart. It is not like exploration and exposure will will happen at this age, and now it's time, the right age to get into expertise. So it is always simultaneous activity. So today I might be exploring something, or trying to getting exposure to many things. I might be working on something which I want to be expert into. So it is a simultaneous sort of thing which it happens in our life. Many things happen, so that's how it is. So it is not time on. So there is no time lost or time gained here. There is something like that. So whatever is the right time for anything, it's the right time for anything. The moment you come across something, it's the right time for it probably. So, and that's where, if that really drives you, then you move on to the different stage of that particular aspect of the thing that you are looking at. That is one thing I wanted to clarify. And other, I would just say, many times, like I'm sure some of us or many of us would have kind of shifted our jobs. Some of us would have shifted from jobs to business or enterprise. So we also move at different ages, at different times we shift to different things. Many times we move from our core career, a kind of core, as you say, academics, and we move to something very different, which we have never thought of. And when we get on with life, we're there as well. So it's intrinsic that learning happens, that gaining of knowledge, that understanding happens, and we take the life forward from there itself. So I don't think that is a cutoff age for anything.
Okay. Right. Thanks so much. Thanks giving me a different viewpoint to the whole thing. Thanks so much.
And I would just like to add a quick point here. Sorry, Ratnesh. Anjali, the,
Yeah.
the struggles that you're going through is a learning process for yourself too.
Right. A lot of
So
unlearning to be done.
exactly. Just wanted to reinforce that.
Yes, yes. Thanks so much. Thanks.
Yep, inviting more people to come on, share, ask. We keep reinforcing. Yeah, Divya, you don't have to raise hand. It's just a meetup. Go ahead, unmute, start speaking, type in
Fine.
chat, whatever you are comfortable with.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yeah.
Yeah, my question is that, like, I really want to be very open about my question, what I'm asking. The thing is that, as parents now, we are working. Many times we come home, and usually we are more tired, and we'll sleep and do the more. We'll be less active. What I mean to say, in the house. So when we homeschool or unschool the child, so you see, for example, my daughter, she won't feel sleepy when she sees me or my husband going to bed, and she just want to accompany us, and even she wants to sleep. So so when we what is it, when we unschool or homeschool, I don't know what exactly what we are doing, trying to do, and still a new concept for me, all those things. And my question may be silly, but I wanted to clarify it. And second thing, as earlier, like grandparents, like they used to say stories and all, but I don't think now that situation is that they are also more into television, and they want to see serials, and they, so it's been that kind of thing. So what exactly I should do? And so I'm just confused.
So Divya, I want to not answer this, but just remind you that to answer this question, you have a consultant at home.
Okay.
Who is that?
My child.
There you go. Please consult your child. Simple.
Okay.
Because she knows you, you know her, and so on and so forth, right? We are like,
Okay.
in that sense, you know,
No, I
in
just
a
wanted
different
to
world.
like bring other perspective
No,
to
it's very
sometimes.
important.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
important to do that, to co-create, because open learning is not about one answer. What Yogeshwari is doing at home will be different from what Preeti is doing, and what, let's say Dwiji is doing, and so on. Everybody does it in a different way. There's no one answer to it or prescription to it. But what is the real joy of open learning, if you ask me? It is this co-creation, this doing it together, kind of thinking how do we want to do it together, and fighting over it, and coming to agreements, coming to compromises, adjusting to each other, not adjusting to each other, all flavors and all masalas of life. That is what is life, in fact. And that is what is open learning. The open learning equal to life kind of equation.
Okay.
And it's not about now we have a list of things to do, which he said and Ratnesh said, and now I will do that. No.
Okay.
Then there is no fun.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but people can add somebody else's. Shraddha is asking, my child is 3-year-old. How can, I'm assuming she means, how can this help him? I think this is all in the realm of same thing, whether you are working, non-working, meaning all of us are working, including children. I hope Ananya or Nandita, I don't know who is on the camera there. I would call her, she is a working person as much as me is, because she does work whole day. She may do work what she likes doing. I may do work what I like doing, but we are all working. Am I right? Ananya, Nandita, I don't know which one is your name. You can, I like that.
I'm Ananya. I'm
Yes.
Nandita.
Are you a working person?
Well, I don't know what. Yes.
Do you work whole day or into things which you like doing?
I do things that I like doing.
That's what work is. Thank you. Okay, I think Shraddha is also asking, how should I connect the campus? I assume you mean how should you connect to the community? I'm assuming, well, you can first connect with Preeti and Pranav. They are also in Mumbai, but they are part of the community. Maybe they can share with you. Preeti, you want to quickly respond to that? Not necessarily as Mumbai, but just like that.
So connecting the community is like we are meeting every Saturday here in SMOL. So today is 144th SMOL meeting. SMOL means Saturday meetup for open learning. So we keep meeting. We can meet here. You can share your questions. You can share your thoughts about open learning and like that. And then move on to connecting with Aarohi community, Aarohi members, and physically, if you want to visit, then there is Aarohi campus in Bangalore, 60 kilometers away from Bangalore. So there, um, it's a must-visit campus. like, uh, like if you have to really experience open learning, see, live life, go in a guest week there and enjoy campus. Otherwise, we are all the time connected online. We are a community of more than say 50, 60 families, and we are connected online in different ways through Zoom, through Discord, and we share, we discuss, we chit chat, we do everything together. So maybe that was my answer. Some more addition from anybody?
There are more people who can answer that. How do you connect to the community? Yogeshwari can share. I think Sandhya is also. There's a lot of people from our community today.
Preeti has summed up nicely everything.
Sure. Okay, more thoughts, more questions.
Officially,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
just
go ahead,
add,
Preeti,
I'll add
yes.
one point here. So officially, if you really want to connect with Aarohi, so one important thing is go through the website. Just go through the website. There are links and you register there, and it's easy, it's simple. Like that is officially I'm saying. Otherwise, otherwise we all are open learners. We all are connected, and we all can connect anytime, any moment.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the idea of campus is a physical space, and for a 3-year-old, their house and everything around them is their campus. So please don't feel that learning will happen on campus and your child needs to go to campus. No, not at all. The entire world is our learning. It's our campus. So yeah, so while we talk about connecting to campus, and that's why I think Preeti was also underlining the connecting to community part, because it's more for us parents to connect and understand the various things, share our experiences and stuff like that, than where the child is expected to connect to campus. And sorry, I had to turn off my video because my connection was not very stable. So the idea of campus is, we need to really think about what campus is, and not just think that campus is where, what is that, 70 kilometers from Bangalore. Yeah. Other questions, thoughts?
Hi, this is Santosh.
Yes, Santosh, please.
Yeah, I have a son of 3 years old. I am interested. I've explored into this open learning, but I don't know where to start. I was confused. I should teach him some basics like literacy or numbers or what. I don't know what to do, where to start. Can you guide me or some suggestions, please?
How old you said is your child?
3 years.
Santosh?
He's 3 years.
3 years.
Ratnesh, you said 3 years.
Okay, I think my internet is also a little.
Yeah. 3 years, Ratnesh. So, Santosh, what are the basic skills that we need in life?
I believe literacy, reading and writing,
Yes.
numbers, with some maths.
So, will literacy and numbers feed and clothe him?
I thought with that they can start learning by themselves and they can be by their own. That's what
Correct.
my thought is.
Okay. So, to start learning, is it really literacy and numbers, or is there anything else that we would want?
Communicate. Well, what
Are
I
you
meant is
using
communication.
internet for something?
Wait, okay. Sorry, there was some disturbance from Ratnesh's. Go ahead, Santosh. Can you please repeat that?
Okay. I was thinking communication is a major part, and so communicating and then like doing his
Yeah.
basic things like everyday things, right?
Yeah.
Those things anyway. We feel that he's observing and learning those things.
Let's go step by step. So, is your son able to communicate his needs and desires to you?
Very well.
Okay. Is he able to enjoy himself while he's doing all that?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
everyday activities, like I feel that he's observing and learning by himself. I don't need to give any instructions or guidance, anything required.
Lovely.
So only thing I was thinking is his next steps, right? I was thinking if he has to read something, I thought he has to learn to read things.
Okay.
Right?
So now let's step back a little. How old are you, Santosh? Sorry, don't mind.
32, no problem.
Okay. So have you thought of what your next steps are?
Yeah, but not a clear description, but yes, I am going with my flow.
Okay. So looks like your son is also going with the flow, right?
Yeah, but as a facilitator, I thought I should give him some facilities. Right?
Lovely. So as a facilitator, what would you want to do for your own facilitation? Because you are your own facilitator, right? You are your resource person.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to convey here is that we sometimes get too bothered about doing something for the child rather than enjoying what they're doing. And looks like you're already observing that he's observing things, he's learning, he's enjoying his life, and you are also having fun experiencing it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So टेंशन मत लो बॉस, अपने सोचो ना, उसको सोचने दो. His learning is his responsibility.
So okay. So I'm okay. My concern is only like how will he take his next steps, like reading things and all, or
sure. So if you are reading and he's observing that you are reading, will he come and ask you, or maybe he will also pick up some book and try to do what you're doing?
Yeah, he asked me to read stories for him, but
there you go. Yeah. Ratnesh, you want to share your experience with reading?
Yeah. See, okay, so before I share the experience, somewhere we feel that, we need to do something for the child, as Vijay was saying. I would rephrase it that how about doing things with the child rather than for the child. So just switch from for to with, which in a way you are doing. You just now said, I read with him. Do you read for him or with him? And that's a big difference. When I read for somebody, I tend to get preachy or teachy, and it just takes the fun out of it. But when we just read with somebody, we read for the joy of reading. So reading is just one example. Playing, cooking, making, dancing, whatever. When we do with somebody, there is so much more fun. So you are worried about literacy. I'm saying look back at your child and how your child learned mother tongue. Did you do anything special to ensure that he learned mother tongue, or did he figure it out himself from the environment?
Figured out, Yeah, he figured out two
In the
languages.
same way, he
by
will
himself.
figure out reading. In the same way, he will figure out writing. In the same way, he'll figure out whatever he needs to figure out. The key word is not figure out. The key word is need. When he needs it, he will find it, or she will find it. Okay. And that's, Vijay was asking me to share example of my son. So my son didn't need to read, didn't feel the need to read till he was 8 years old. Till 8, he was very happy. Dad and mom are reading with me. I'm enjoying when lots of books with them or other friends or elder sister. He had no need to read. But at 8, when he started seeing internet and you needed to read what is written in Google search, and he said, oh no, I need to learn how to read. And the next day he was reading. He was reading, not in one day he learned, but actually all these 8 years he was learning. We didn't just realize it. It was all absorption from him. Right, just like mother tongue doesn't happen in a day. It's a gradual absorption. So that's the magic.
Okay. Thank you. I have a follow-up, not follow-up, but a different perspective. So I am also not so much interested in giving these exams or whatever, but what if he realizes, say, at the age of 24 or something like that, he needed some, for his particular course or whatever professional journey he choose, he need those certifications or whatever. Won't that be too late for
Then
him
at
to,
that
I
age
know
he will
he can do
get
it.
it.
He can do it, but won't it be too late for him to?
Not at all. My mother became a doctor at the age of 46 because she wanted to become a doctor at that age.
I was thinking more of it is injustice for us not to give them the exams so that.
No,
because
wait. You are not wait. The idea is not that we are holding the child back from giving or doing anything. Okay, together on a daily basis, weekly basis, we are reviewing what we are doing, what we would like to do, how we would like to do. So it's not, you are not imposing your idea onto him. Rather, you are in a journey together, deciding which direction to go, what turn to take, what turn not to take, and so on. And which is why there is nothing that is going to suddenly happen at 24, because between now to 24, every week you have discussed, hey, what is it that you like to do? And he will ask you, what is it that you would like to do? And both of you, like two passengers, decide where your whatever train is in many different directions going to explore. Right? So it's a together
at this
journey.
age,
It's
he
not
will not be
something. Sure, but we are not talking about this age or that age. We are talking about from 3 to 24, 21 years of togetherness multiplied by 52 weeks. Sorry, that is too much maths for me. But how much ever that works out to, that much togetherness, discussing, sharing, arguing, thinking is not suddenly going to say, hey, you didn't let me do this. No. That is when if we are imposing, then yes, maybe somebody can turn back and say, hey, you didn't let me. But the point is not about we not letting or he not letting us. We are together. That is the beauty of it.
Okay. Got.
So you are thinking, what if later? I am thinking what I can do today. Today, enjoy and discuss and share. Hey, what do you want to do today? Like I'm sure he comes and demands, read for me, or he demands, play with me, or he demands. So today he's demanding in one way. When he's 8, he will demand in another way. When he's 14, he will demand in another way. When he's 18, in another way, and so on. He will evolve as an individual. And I'm sure you will also evolve in that way.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not able to stop myself, so I'm just reinforcing the same thing what Ratnesh has said. Actually, your son will not jump from 3 years to 24 years or 25 years. There are so many years on the way. The journey is there. So the journey is together. And in that journey, your whole family is there. The whole family is together. You discuss, you talk so much with each other that I don't think there'll be any day that there'll be questions. It is always together thing. So that sudden thing doesn't happen. It's not that he 3 years and then straight 24 years.
Yeah. What I feel is like maybe the current interest may not require those certificates or whatever. But at that particular point, if he realizes, no, I am interested into something else, then I was thinking, then he has to spend some time to gain all those required stuff. Right? That's what my concern, my thoughts are. maybe too much thinking, but yeah, that's
Yeah, and Santosh, why is that a concern? That's the whole thing about life. Are you doing the same thing that you were doing when you were 20 years old?
no, not at all.
I'm assuming you graduated at 20 or 22 years. So as soon as
Correct.
you graduated, what you thought you will be
Uh,
working on, are you doing that work today when you're 30 years old?
yeah, something similar. I had to change with
Similar,
jobs
but
and
not
all.
the
Then I
same.
had to learn.
What you thought is not exactly what you're working on.
Yeah, but
So
see, what I
you
was saying. Then my
things
point is,
are
at
to
least
you.
I, when I wanted to change, right? At least I had those necessary things to change the
Yeah,
or.
yeah, exactly. So if you didn't have it, you learned it. You joined some course, you did some trainings.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's how it will work. Ratnesh's son, I forgot his name, yeah. Drupal. Drupal needed to read Google search, so he decided, hey, I better start reading. And he realized that, just like Ratnesh realized, he realized that he actually knows a lot of it. It's just associating those things, right? So
Yeah.
it's I think it also ties into what Anjali was sharing earlier, that we invent there are certain times and certain ages for certain things. And if we don't check those boxes, we feel uncomfortable. More than the child, we feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so the problem is, how do I get to, see the world more than what do I do to the child or what do I offer the child?
Okay.
And he's 3
My
years old.
10-year.
Boss, itna tension mat lo.
Okay.
Sure, it is
No,
Yeah, so from a child's perspective, I just say my daughter, 10-year-old, she just said ki questions are there, but they get answered throughout the journey. So that's
Yeah,
her, like 10-year-old has just said that.
yeah, lovely. We also have a question on the chat, which is pretty heavy. So, do we want to take that or do we want to? Okay, let's just take that question. I'm not hearing anyone else asking. So Devendra is asking how open schooling, I guess, OS integrates with social and economic structure of the current schooling system. I'll just read out the questions and then we can just discuss if folks can share their thoughts. How kid evolves and develops better in the OS approach alone with fulfilling life? Is there a gap where permanent damage or lag gets created in kids' life? Obviously, good upside too, but I am, what was that? Sorry, it's scrolling and so yeah, obviously good upside too, but I'm trying to understand the worst mistakes we might get into. So that's a lot of questions there, but if anyone would like to share their thoughts on any of these aspects, especially if you have been practicing open learning or considering open learning.
I'd like to answer
Please, Tanya.
question 3. If there is a gap or lag in the kid's life, like if the kid is okay with that, I think he or she will not feel it as a gap or a lag. Like how do we say that this is a lag or a gap? Is there a, as the previous questions were asked and answered, is there a standard line or a time limit to do certain things in certain ages? No, like throughout the life we can learn. So how do we decide that this is a lag or this is a gap? And another thing, definitely we when we regard our kids' life and all, we definitely won't allow to get something as a permanent damage. I can assure that. Like if we make a mistake, we know it is a mistake and we can rectify it. We definitely won't allow it to be a permanent damage. And it's okay to make mistakes. And like until we realize it's a mistake and we are ready to overcome and do something better than that.
Yeah, I want to add on to what my mom said. Like I've been doing open learning for like over a year, and the gaps are necessary oftentimes because it gives you time to think things through and like just take rest from everything you've experienced. So it's definitely necessary. It's not a bad thing at all. And like my mom said, like obviously parents won't allow big mistakes to happen in your kid's life, and it's okay to make mistakes, as she said, because then you have an opportunity to learn and like teach your child what to do and how to own up. So it's more helpful because then you get to bond and understand what you're going through together.
Unless we don't panic about the mistakes, I think it's good to make mistakes. Like Ratnesh says, if you don't have problems, create more problems and enjoy your problems like that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I'm Yogeshwari here. I'll try to answer the second question. Is it okay? Yeah. So when the same question was asked with different words in one of the open learning meetup, the answer given by my daughter was she was in regular school some couple of years before. So she connected her experience with her regular schooling and answer to this question. So she said that in her school, some teacher planned for her day, whereas in open schooling, she herself plans for the day. So when she starts to plan for her day, that's the time where she starts to live her life to the fullest. Yeah, I hope this makes sense. And she also added very recently that, Amma, one thing which I'm sure is, if you put anywhere, in any place, in any corner of the world, I'm damn sure I know how to survive. Yeah. So what else do we need?
Thank you, Yogeshwari. Yeah, I mean, Devendra, I'm also thinking that, somehow there seems to be a underlying thought of open learning is, the only way of doing things. No, I don't think open learning is about being conscious that learning is a lifelong process. It's not just about school or schooling, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, why are we just comparing it to school, right? And it also sets us up for a lot more, what shall I say, in some sense, failure, when we invariably start comparing, is this better, is that better? What's better is what you have decided to do now in the situation that you are in today. Tomorrow you review and you change what you're doing if you feel like changing. What I'm trying to say here is that, like Ratnesh was saying, it's about co-creating your own life, the life that of people around you. So it's not just about achieving a certificate or a certain competence in something. It's about life. It's way more than just those individual degrees, certificates, and whatever else, recommendations and awards and other things. So I'm just giving a broader thing that when we look at education and we look at learning, we need to understand that what we are talking about is not just schooling, right? And kids come in all shapes and sizes. They come with all personalities, just as adults come in all shapes and sizes with all kinds of personalities. So whether you're putting them through regular school or you're putting them through, a cave, living in a cave. So they will evolve with the situations around them, and we evolve according to the situations that we experience. So all I'm trying to say is that open learning is not just limited to schooling. It's way more than that. It's about living. So I think there was some other question. Oh yeah, Ratnesh did answer this question on the chat, but I would just like to underline this aspect. There were some requests about how we can connect with other unschoolers, open learners in different places. We, of course, through the website, you can just send us a message to the website, or you can also go through the video recordings of all these meetups. And many of these sessions are with families and who live in different parts of the country, who are practicing open learning. We also have social media presence, so you can connect with us on Facebook or on WhatsApp or on Telegram. And Ratnesh has already put the WhatsApp number, connect number, so you can just message us on WhatsApp at that number, or you can just go look for Aarohi in Telegram and you'll find us. The link is also there on our website as well. So different ways of connecting with the larger Aarohi community, whether it is through social media or just getting to know who they are, where they are, what they're doing, through the website and the YouTube archives in some sense. Any other questions?
Yeah,
Please?
Vijay, Nidhi has asked, she's asking,
Mhm.
is it compulsory for both the parents to involve whole day with child while unschooling, homeschooling?
Yeah.
Pranav, you want to respond to that?
Yeah.
I'm sure whole day, the whole day part, interesting.
Not really, Nidhi. It's basically, as Ratnesh says, constantly using that word co-create and as a family. So as a family, we co-create. So we basically plan our week, say maybe on Sunday or something, and we work out how do we want to go about this week, and accordingly we chart out what I want to do, what my wife wants to do, what my daughter wants to do, where we need each other's support, where we would need each other's help if wherever, subject to whatever the things that we are into. Like if I have to go for work, that time is for my work. That's it. Or say Preeti has to be into something, then she has to be in something. So it is not like completely our life is devoted to our child in that regard fully, and we have to spend those hours with her only. So it's basically we plan around the 24 hours framework that we have, and in that then we discuss, we talk what all has to be done, and that's how the week progresses. At times things don't happen as per the plan, but of course you can review it. There could be last moment changes, some guests come in, so you alter things accordingly. So that's how it is. So it's more of discussion, talking, planning, and then going about it. And child is also aware, this time this parent is not available, or that parent is not available. So accordingly she also ensures that she is occupied with her stuff.
Thanks, Pranav. I think the underlying thought is again that it's a co-created thing. It's not you devoting or the child. Do you ask? I hope you would have. I'm just wishing you would have asked the other way around. Will the child need to devote all his time for my needs? It's the same way. So just that the child will not devote all her time for your needs. You don't need to devote. It's a co-creation.
No, Ratnesh. I have a different question. Who's that? Sorry, Varsha, not Varsha, Nidhi, right?
No, Nidhi.
Nidhi, would you want anybody to be devoting their entire day to you? Right? I'm sorry, could you unmute yourself, Nidhi, if you don't mind? Okay. So basically what I'm trying to ask is that The child is a person, right? As a person, I wouldn't want anybody to giving their entire day to me, day in and day out. Give me a few hours, or when I want, please come and help me. Otherwise, I don't want you to bother me, right? And I'm pretty sure that your child also feels the same way. Just as I'm guessing you also feel the same way. I'm assuming that you're not in a situation where you can unmute and talk. But what I'm trying to say here is that treat the child as a person, because I'm pretty sure they don't want you to be around all through the day. But the other aspect that you had in mind, I'm guessing, is about I'm working, so how can I do things, right? How can I do open learning? Now that aspect, does anybody in here have a life without constraints, right? If nothing else, we are all constrained by having only 24 hours a day. If nothing else, right? Even if I have all the money that I need, I only have 24 hours in a day. And I want to sleep at least 5 to 6 hours at least. So we always live with constraints. So it's about co-creating. You work with the constraints that you have, with the resources that you have, and make these problems into opportunities and see how you can create your journey, co-create your journey, not just you yourself, but rather with your child, with your family, with your neighbors, with your, whatever resources that you can pull in. And that's what life is, and that's what open learning is. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I'd like to challenge people a little.
Sure. I think Varsha has put in a question. So Varsha, first of all, or importantly, I don't think we would like to take that question in this meetup, because screen time and its usage is not anything directly to do with open learning. Its screen is now there in everybody's life, children, adults, and how to manage it, how to do it, what to do it is a totally different topic. It's not directly related to open learning in any which way. It is just related to life in today's world. So maybe in another forum, we can create a discussion around that, which is more related to parenting. But here we are more focusing on open learning. And we're also nearing the 6 o'clock timeline, where we have Asawari, who will be joining us in a few minutes and sharing her journey. So before we move in, I just want to remind everybody that not everybody's questions maybe could be flowed even today, or answered or responded to. We know that, which is the reason why two things. One is we meet every Saturday. So you can go back and listen to previous recording. If you don't like listening to recording, you can keep joining us every Saturday. We are there every Saturday, 5 o'clock. So that's one option available to everybody. And the second option is there is a WhatsApp group. I'm sure many of you are already part of it. But we don't really see too many questions in the last, 1 week, for example. So go ahead, put your questions there. Let's see what so many different families are, how are they doing it. In fact, that's a beautiful thing, because then many families can respond in their own time, in their own, with their own thoughts. So please do both of these if possible. And the whole idea of having a Aarohi community, or community of families who are doing open learning, is exactly this. That's why we are a community, because we learn from each other, we share with each other, we get deeper understanding, sometimes insights, sometimes answers, sometimes pushing, like how she was interestingly tickling different people, stimulating thinking. And that's what really the community does, not just to us as parents, but as children, as parents. We do work all together. We collaborate, we connect, we do a lot of different things together. We do projects together, we discuss topics together, we do explorations together, we get into exposures, we meet new people. So a lot of action that happens in the community for all ages of children and adults, and even up to grandparents. So it's not a community for children, it's a community for families. And that's where we find a lot of value from each other. Right. So I just wanted to put that, and and once again, remind you, we are there every Saturday, so we can continue our discussions there. It's almost 6 o'clock. I would invite Asawari to share her journey. But before that, just a quick word about as part of the journey from expertise to enterprise, or expertise itself in a way. We have been working with a new, okay, it's not really new concept, but we have termed it in a way. We've called it CoVersity, which essentially means that young adults of age, let's say 14 to 21, or rather youth of 14 to 21, get into small cohorts of similar interests. So people interested in film get together, and people interested in writing get together, people interested in programming get together, people interested in let's say dance and music get together, and then they do actual work with the real life projects and internships and a lot of different stuff. But they work as a cohort, as a group together, obviously with guides and mentors to support them, but more importantly with each other to support them. So that's the idea that we are now showing to the world and saying, hey, let's let's use this way of learning, which is more based on my interest, and with others of similar interest, go deeper into whatever I want to do. And especially, even if I don't know what is my current interest, I take up one thing, whichever appeals to me most, do it for, let's say, 6 months in a deep way, and then decide, hey, is this something I want to continue, or I want to try something else? And that way, over a period of time, I'm hopefully be able to find my real interest or interest. So one such story is Asawari's. Asawari, over to you. You can go ahead and share your little journey of interest, which continues to flow. Yeah.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So, my name is Asawari, and I went to conventional school up till the standard of 5th. So, in the middle, I went to a regular school, like most of us in the regular go to a regular school. So in the middle of 5th, like when I was in school, my parents felt like this kind of education was not what they wanted to give me. And so they decided to take me out of school. And at that time, I was just 10 years or something. And so I was not, I did not completely understand what was happening, but it was a mutual decision. They did take my consent when they took me out of school. And I was given the assurance that if I ever felt like going back, that option was always available for me. And so I started homeschooling and my journey of learning, then I think it took a few years for me to start shifting from subject-based learning to interest-based learning. So initially, even though I had left school, I think I didn't know what am I supposed to learn. And so I still took the support of textbooks to get the subjects. Like I remember I had the NCERT textbooks. So I used to use the the textbooks to get subjects so that I know, okay, this is a topic I should explore. And then that helped me to, and then slowly I started moving away from the textbooks and started finding topics just by my own curiosity. So one day I remember I got curious about atoms, and then I saw a lot of videos to understand what atoms are. Or I had also, we also traveled a lot. Not a lot, but yes, we did go on some family trips. And like one of the family trips that we did was that we decided to trace the Ganges or the Ganga River from its source to its end. So we went to Himalayas and saw the source, so Rishikesh and the Sangam of Ganga and Yamuna. And then we went to the sea where it meets in Sundarbans. And so and then I kind of documented that whole journey. And that was like a different learning experience. And then we also met a lot of homeschooling other families who were doing homeschooling and spent time with them. And so, and then in Bangalore, we used to live in Bangalore at that time. And in Bangalore also, I remembered going to a lot of places and getting a lot of exposure. So as I would go to these different places, meet different people, meet different children, I would get curious or interested in different topics and different subjects. And then I think I soon realized I don't need the textbooks to tell me what I should be learning, because everything was around me, and all these things that I wanted to learn or what I was curious about started to appear around me. And then I started to get more interested in art and more interested in dance, because maybe that was also an exposure that was very prevalent around me. And then I wanted to go to art and dance classes, and I wanted to pursue it seriously. So I also did that for some time. I did a lot of focused I spent some time very focused on learning art and dance. And as I was learning it I think I'm not sure about the exact timeline, but I spent some time on it. And I realized that I like it. I really do. I still love art and dance, but it was maybe something that I was too early fixing for myself that I want to become an artist, I want to become a dancer. It felt too early. I was just maybe 13, 14 years, and I still felt like I was not ready to fix what I want to do at that time. That was just my journey for me. And so I said, okay, no, I want to just explore more. I just want to continue to hold on to these small curiosities or small interests that I have, continue to build on that, and then find that space where I will say, yes, this is what I really want to deep dive in. And so, and also, of course, I am daughter of Aditi and Ratnesh. So they started Aarohi around after 6 months of homeschooling me and my younger brother. They started Aarohi. So I was part of Aarohi. So that also gave me a lot of different experiences and different exposures. And when the Aarohi campus shifted from the city of Bangalore to a nearby village, where right now our campus is in Kelamangalam. So that whole process of shifting, just as a fun, not just as a family, but as a campus, and then coming here to this 5-acre land and building this whole campus from scratch. We were a group of children who were part of Aarohi at that time, and we were kind of completely involved in that process. So that was also like, there were so many things new over here, like living in a village was a very different experience, and being part of the construction of this whole place. Like, I remember we did the survey of the campus. So it's a 5-acre land. So we had to like label or like mark where is our boundary. And I think we did it once, and then it was like, then the surveyor came and there was a mistake. And so then we did it the second time, and then we did it the third time. I think we did it like 3 or 4 times. And every time there were some mistakes, but it was so fun for me because we used different techniques. Okay, how do we want to measure the distance? How do we want to make sure that we are doing what we're doing with precision and these kind of things? And so I think that experience of being here as part of building the campus is also something that gave me a lot of exposure and a lot of, and I got interested in some ways in just this being in the space and being in nature. That kind of helped me connect. I mean, I got really connected with this whole space. And also, like, I also started taking up small projects. So as I was just exploring my interests, so I was exploring writing, and I was exploring art and exploring dance. I also decided that I wanted to start taking up small projects that will help me to kind of like quantify the exploration of my interests. So one of the first projects that I took was that I wrote a small novelette or a small story. And I actually, like, because I felt I was interested in writing at that time, I wrote a short story, or kind of a mini novel. And I actually like really edited it and printed it in a small way. And I found a mentor who was an author, she's still a children's book author. And that was also very interesting to find a mentor and actually get her guidance and learn from her as to how I can edit and how I can write my book. So that was like, that whole project was an end-to-end learning experience for me, where I could really deep dive into my interest of writing. And then another project that I took when we were building the campus here was we wanted to build actually I wanted to build a cafe. So I like baking, I like cooking. That's one of my other interests. So I wanted to like I had this kind of dream that I wanted to run a cafe. But then somehow that cafe project got converted into building a community kitchen for the campus. So initially we had like a really small kitchen, but we wanted to build like a community kitchen. So that cafe project got converted into, okay, let's build a community kitchen first, and then we'll start cooking and baking, and maybe that will become our cafe. And so one of the constraints we have here at campus is that every building we make, we want to try a different architectural or a different construction method. And so we found a mentor who would help us in the construction technique called earth-back construction. So this project I did with another child. So both of us together, we did this project where we learned the new technique of construction, which is called earth-back construction, which is a eco-friendly or a sustainable technique of architecture. So we learned that from him, how to do it. We took his guidance and we designed the building. And then we on site, we got the laborers, we got the materials, we trained the laborers into the new construction technique, and we did the whole project. And the reason this project is very precious to me, I think, is because it's one of the biggest failures of my life, and one of but yet it's like such a big learning experience because I learned so much from it. So when we were building the building, we reached up till the roof level. So next day we were going to put the roof. We were very excited. I was like, okay, next day morning we will start with the roofing. And that night there was a big storm, and there was some mistake in the design of the building, due to which it did not withstand the storm. And the next day all the walls had fallen. So when we woke up in the morning, all the walls were fallen. It was completely destroyed, the whole thing, and we had to start back from scratch. When we started back from scratch, I took more help because I felt like I needed more help to make the building. But so it was a huge failure but it was a big learning experience. And I think one of the biggest things I learned was that I learned a complete new language through this whole project. So the laborers that came, they knew only Kannada or Tamil, and I did not know any of those languages, even though I studied the subject of Kannada in school till fifth. It was a compulsory subject, but at school, one of the subjects that I hated was Kannada, and I never grasped it at school. It was really difficult for me to even pass the exams, but somehow I used to do it because I had a visual memory. So it was easy for me to visually remember the letters and just put it on the exam sheet and not remember like later on what I wrote or what I understood. There was no sense of that. So I did not know Kannada, and living in Bangalore, which is a very multicultural city, I did not need to learn Kannada. But after here, when coming and I'm working with the local people, I'm working with the laborers, I'm working with the people who come here to cook for us or clean for us. And naturally the language came, and I learned Kannada just by doing the project. I didn't even make any extra effort to learn it, but just by interacting and working with the laborers, I learned a whole new language. So that was like, there were so many learnings that happened in that project. But yeah, it was not like in the end of it, I wanted to become an architect, or I am interested in architecture in any which way, but that it was just a project that I did. And so I think this is the way I explored two different kind of interests. And when I was around 14, I also decided that I do not want to take up 10th standard. So I decided I felt like I'm not ready to to go for the degree, because I don't know what I want to do in life. So how can I take an exam for that? And I felt like it was a waste of time. I would rather focus on continuing to explore my interests. So I chose not to go for degree, not to take my 10th, 12th, or go to college. So right now, and just continue to explore my interests. And one of the ways that I did it was I joined Swaraj, which is a university in Udaipur. They do not have this program anymore, but before COVID, they had a 2-year program where you could where it was for youth specifically, where youth come and be part of the 2-year program and explore their interest and find what they're passionate about and make their passion their profession. It's a course where you do not need a degree and you do not get a degree in the end. So I was part of that program for 2 years. And one of the great things for me was I traveled apart from traveling with my family, I started traveling alone. I got a whole new exposure. I met a lot of people. I made friends, a lot of friends. I found community in that space. And I got connected to environmental sustainability over there. So I think my connection with nature, which happened here while living the village, that kind of expanded into being passionate about environmental sustainability. And so I understood that my passion is environmental sustainability. I want to do something in which my work connects with nature, my work connects with the earth, it takes care of the earth. That was what I understood. But immediately I did not understand how that would manifest as to what am I supposed to do. So initially I started by taking workshops for children and adults, but that did not work for me. I felt like it became too preachy and it did not make complete sense to do those things. So after that, it slowly evolved into a business. So right now I run a business called Dhanak, where I make natural body care products, which are like, I make soaps, I make bath powders, lip balms, body butters, lots of products and I sell them. And I also, my objective of this business is to spread the possibility in the world that we can use natural products, we can use products that are good for us and good for the planet. And through this business, I want to talk about natural living or living in harmony with nature. I do that through this business. And that's how I think I found that kind of interest formed into passion and formed into also right now what I'm doing deeply. And I did not know anything about business when I started, but I still don't know. I think I'm like still learning everything. It's like every day is a journey. It's been a huge learning thing every day, just learning how to market your products, how to do costing, everything. I mean, like every aspect of running a business, there's so many aspects, and I'm still learning lots of things and still growing every day and continuing to deepen my interest of environmental sustainability, and now also a part of it, my interest of business. And another thing for me that is very important is that even though right now I'm doing a business and maybe professionally I'm engaged in something, I don't forget what else I'm interested in. So right now, one of the other things I'm interested in is spirituality. And so even though I have these things, I want to continue to explore my other interests, which is right now at the moment, apart from this spirituality. So I'm also focusing on that by giving myself time in the day, in the year, to kind of dive deep into spirituality as well. So I think I've always let interest drive me, not degrees, not not conventional method. I'm not talking about just conventional, but usually I've let what I'm interested in today drive me. So just because I'm running a business today doesn't mean I would be running tomorrow. Maybe next time you meet me, I would be doing something completely different. So for me, my main objective is, okay, today what I'm interested in, let's do that. Let's focus on what I like to do and what makes me happy. I think, yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Asawari. So we'll open up to questions to Asawari. We're more focusing on how one can be interest-driven and work on one's interest and take it to any level, professional, deep search, or whatever level one wants to take. That's the focus for today. Next Saturday, we'll meet another child, and every Saturday we'll bring one child for you to meet who's doing that. So you can ask questions to Asawari on how, mostly questions on interest and converting them into, or going deeper into that. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Can I ask a question, Asawari? Yeah. So this approach of where you say, I am driven by what I'm doing today, and take my life forward accordingly. but how does it? How do you see yourself being sustainable? Like, would you be able to sustain yourself for a longer duration with this approach? I'm just asking a broader question. Probably many would have that in mind. So does it work?
When you mean
Practical.
sustain, you mean financially?
Yeah, financially, yes. Financially, certainly, of course, to be secure in a way, or independent, as one says.
So one thing is that I have a lot of confidence in myself that I am capable of earning enough money for myself to uh, sustain myself. Like, because yes, money is very important. But personally, the thing is, for me, I want enough money that I am living a comfortable basic life where I get my food and whatever basic needs that I have. I do not have any ambition of earning lots and lots of money, or in terms of money being very, very rich or anything. I just want money that's enough for me to sustain myself. And I have a lot of confidence that I have enough sets of skills, and I have enough and even if I don't have enough set of skills, I have confidence that that when the need comes, I have enough potential to build those skills. And so I feel that money is a very important thing in life, but I do not want to let that drive my life. So just because I need to earn money, that does not drive how my life goes. And in terms of security, I feel like that's a very there's so many ways to feel secure. And I feel secure not because I have enough money, but I feel secure because I have enough potential within me to do what I want to do, to live a happy life. I have the security of my family, of relationships around me. And I think that kind of security is far more important for me than being secure with money. I'm not saying money is not important, super important, but I feel like I do not want money to drive my life. I want what I want to do, what my interest is, that to drive, and money will come through that. I mean, there's enough opportunities in this world to earn and to live happily, but there's not, but I do not want to live a life where I'm doing something that I do not want to do, or like not by doing it out of passion, but just doing it for the money. That's not something that I want. Yeah, I hope that answered.
Yeah, I love your answer. Just a small follow-up thing. So would you attribute this confidence, or what do you say, the belief in yourself? Is there anything to do with open learning, or it can be like any individual who can just drive that person can drive himself? Or would you attribute it to open learning as a reflection? What do you think?
Sorry. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure anyone can get this confidence. And I think open learning, because it is not constrained to any age, at any age, one can get this. So for me, the main thing about open learning is that we learn to learn, and we learn to live our life the way we want to. So I would definitely say, yes, this is to do with the fact that I'm an open learner, but I don't think it's but only open learners can do it. Anyone at any age can find this kind of passion in them.
Asawari, तुमने द्विजी को रुला दिया एकदम.
इतना theoretical question पूछ रहा है प्रणव. I would like to invite others also to unmute and talk and share your thoughts about Asawari's journey and what she shared.
Yeah, can I ask? This is Nish here. Like, my name is Nishant. I have just logged in as Nish. Can I ask a question from?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Congratulations, Ashwari, first of all, and
Thank you.
your story is very inspiring.
Thank you.
And my daughters are 6.5 years old, twin daughters, and I'm located in Noida, and I'm a new homeschooling parent. They have never been to school. So recently I joined the Aarohi group. I have 3 daughters. My elder daughter is 15 years old. She has been going to school since she was 3 years old. So she is continuing with her schooling. She's currently in class 10th. For my twin daughters, me and my wife are very clear that we want to homeschool them, unschool them. So after listening to your story, your learning experiences, I've gained a lot of confidence, and I just want to ask you one thing, that what difference you find, I'm sure you must be having friends who are from the structured schooling and college and professionals and stuff like that. So, it's not about, comparing or anything that sort, but is there anything you find yourself a benchmark up from the structured school students? Because in sense of confidence, the kind of confidence I saw in you, that when it comes to finance or economics of living your life, a sustainable life, the kind of confidence you have, generally you don't find this in the structured school students, because then, I hope I've conveyed what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. So one thing that I really want to tell you and anybody who's doing open learning is that open learning is amazing, but that does not mean that it's all rosy and beautiful. There is lots of, and that has nothing to do with open learning as such. Life itself is about challenges, is about problems, is about all the thorns and all the roses. So it's definitely very important that when we're entering open learning, not to feel like, oh, it's all just because. Sometimes also I feel like when I share my story, it feels like, wow, open learning is amazing, it's so great, like, and yes, it is amazing, it is great, but it is challenging. And every open learner, or forget open learner, every individual in this world will go through problems, will go through challenges, will go through issues. So in that sense, it doesn't make sense for me to really compare myself with anybody else, because everybody is going through their own journey, own thing. But one thing that I see, the only difference that I feel is that I have simply been given the space from my family, from my education, the way I've been educated. I've just simply been given the space for a really long time now, since I was 10, I would say, to be myself and to figure out my life myself. So my life, whether would have gone to school or I wouldn't have gone to school, I would have faced challenges. Maybe even though I would have gone to school, I would have been this confident. So confidence, I don't think has anything to do with open learning as such, but I've simply been given the space. So because I've been given the space, I feel, because I've just been given the space to be who I am, I've been accepted for who I am, I've been given the space to decide, make my own decisions, to create the life the way I want, make all the mistakes I want, fail, everything. I've been just given so much space from my family, from my community, from everyone else. I think that just simply gives me the space to be confident, to be who I am. And anybody who is given that space can be like this, I feel. And not every time I'm confident, just that I have talked about my journey a lot, so I'm a little more confident in speaking about that. But there are times and days when I'm not confident as well. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you, Ashwini.
So I would like to ask one very specific question, Asawari. You shared an incident where you woke up the next morning and the walls had all melted away. Do you remember how you felt that day? And can you remember? Can you share some experience? Like, what do you remember of that day? Because you seem to have a very good memory of it today. I mean, you remembered it as a very good learning experience. But when you were going through that, can you share how you felt, what you felt? I'm sure it was a few years ago, so I mean, it's okay if you don't.
I maybe, yeah, not exactly, but definitely I did feel terrible. It was really, really, really bad, horrible to see my project fall all the way down, and to feel like, oh shit, I made some mistake in designing the building, and that's why it's on the ground right now. And I really did feel like giving up, and I kind of did also, in the sense, before that, my mother, who's professionally an architect, she was not that involved. But after that, I kind of went to her and said, this is really difficult and I really, really need your support. And she kind of really took up a big chunk of the role of doing the project. So yeah, I did have a lot of feeling like this is too difficult and I really want to give up, because this felt like too big a project. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Asawari. Others, folks, we still have some time. So if you would like to share some thoughts, ask some questions, um, especially about Asawari's journey that she has shared about, feel free to unmute and yeah.
Hello, Asawari Kajal here. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, like, when you are homeschooling, I know, like you were saying, you didn't fixed on anything. Like this is not my interest on the at the age of 13 and 14. Like you started moving to another things. Okay, right? So whenever you think like comparing other childrens that they are earning something more, like on at the age of yours, okay, like school childrens or other some childrens, like they are financially more comfortable, that then what do you do at the, like you said, like you are whatever you are earning, that you are satisfied, but whenever you think you feel like comparing, then do you feel sad, or how do you manage that thing? That is what you got my question.
Yes. One of the things is that I started earning before a lot of people who would generally. So I started my business around when I was 20. So that was usually people of my age at that time go to college, and then they get a job and then they start earning. But I started my business when I was 20 or 21, around that time. So I started, and I think before that also I had done a few projects through which I had earned. So in terms of, if you compare with a conventional child, I started earning much before usually a child who would go to college and then get a degree and then maybe go for a master's or something and then finally go and get a job or an internship. And so comparatively that way. And in terms of feeling like I'm earning less than anybody else, that feeling is not there for me, because if I feel I'm earning less, I'll just go and work on earning more. I mean, that's not an issue, right? Because, and that has nothing to do with me being an open learner. Whatever you do, there's always somebody who's earning more than you. So I don't think that's connected to being an open learner. That's just connected to being what we're doing right now and how much we're earning out of.
Thank
Right.
you.
While you ask more questions, I'm just kind of little introducing once again the concept of CoVersity, which is more for the 14 to 21-year-old. So you may have a child in that age group, or you may have a relative or a friend or somebody who is in that age group, and the invitation is to at least introduce to them this concept of going by your passion, forming a cohort, which is where the Aarohi comes in, as in we will form a cohort, and then co-create your own journey with the cohort by doing work out there in the industry or in the field or in the domain that you have, with obvious support, to create your own life. So that's the concept. And as the age group shows, you can start at any age, whether you're 14 or 15, 17, 18, 20, and get into this. And even if you do not have one big interest, even if the children of this age, young youth of this age, do not have one interest, which is quite likely, some people may not have yet formed one interest, and which is a good news actually, that they have not formed one interest. That gives, this CoVersity concept gives an opportunity to deep dive into different fields, much like how Asawari did in her journey. In meaning, there was no concept. We had not created it as a concept at that time. But in a way, you can say Asawari is one of the inspiration to create this CoVersity, and many other young or youth and young adults we have worked with, and we have seen blossoming, who have inspired us to say, okay, this is an amazing way to live and design and grow yourself as a professional. So that's the CoVersity concept that we are talking about. And yeah, you can continue to ask Asawari about her journey, or if you would like to know about specifically about CoVersity, you can ask, meaning we are there to obviously answer those questions. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of bring that little slide just to kind of place things in perspective. Yeah, we can carry on. We still have about 25 minutes to discuss, share. Yeah.
I just wanted to share one thing. Like when I saw the slide, I kind of thought, I don't know if I said that, but I feel like in my journey of exploring multiple interests and finding my passion, a community has played a big role, in the sense having both mentors and of course my parents, who were also mentors and a big support of my life, of my journey, and also having friends who totally understood my journey and supported me, and not just supported me, they questioned me and they pushed me, and they asked the hard the hard hitting questions when I was doing something. So that kind of though I did not go through a process of being in a cohort as such, but I was lucky to have 2 or 3 friends who were actually interested in the same thing. We were all 2, 3 of us were interested in environmental sustainability. So it was actually very supportive to have people of the same interest, and also to have mentors and a lot of people around me who kind of supported me a lot in this journey.
Sunal, your question, I've kind of typed out the answer. It's for anybody of any age, whether it's a village girl or a city boy or anybody in any field. The whole idea is, are you interested in something? And most importantly, are you interested in yourself, as in your interests, as in not interested in what the world wants, but what really ignites you, whatever ignites. And if you haven't found what ignites you, great. Are you interested in finding out what ignites you? And for that, one has to deep dive, one has to test different pools to see, hey, which is the one which gets me going, right? So that's the whole idea. So anybody and everybody is welcome, but this is a deep dive, which means that you would, let's say, for a cycle of 6 months, focus on one domain, one field. And then after 6 months, you can review and say, okay, this was good, and I want to continue and become more and more deeper into it. Or you may say, no, I want to try some other field. This is good, but I still want to explore more. Then you can choose another field and deep dive into it, and so on. And also at some point, if you say, no, I don't like this at all, I want to do something else, choose another path of building myself, then that's also fine. So it's not it's not closed in that sense. It's very open concept. I hope I've kind of answered the question. But more questions, yeah, to Asawari or in general about CoVersity.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah. Just one moment. Devendra has a question. I'm not very sure I totally understand the question. Well, the mastery of content is, we don't have to ensure that. That is what, because it is their interest, and because they are doing projects which are exciting to them, or doing work or doing internship, which is drawing them towards that, they develop that, well, let's call it mastery. So it's very much in that sense self-driven. We say self-driven, interest-based cohort. Nobody else is trying to motivate you or say, yes, you can do it. No need. These kids are just amazing. When they want to do something, they really want to do something. That's what I have seen in my last 20 years of interacting with various children and adults also, right? But mostly children. Yeah. So I that is how we look at it. So there is no really onboarding. I think it's self-boarding, let's call it, if there is a term like that. Each one, because it's their interest. It's not our thing that we are offering them something. And Sunal is asking, is it offline? You mean, yes, it has part where you are at the campus, because that's when the cohort can get together and do some deep work, if that is what you meant. Yes, at Aarohi campus for certain months, and certain months doing internship, which can be in any city, including your home city. So it's both. It's a combination of, actually, it's yeah, the online is more as a resource. You use it for different purposes. But yeah, primarily it's about getting into this group of similar interest people, and then going and doing stuff. So yeah, online will play a role. I wouldn't say it's an online, but only limited to that extent that yeah, we use online for different things, but primarily all together.
I just wanted to add one small thing to what you said, Ratnesh, about Devender's question.
Yeah, sure.
So, Devender, I think we are all illiterate in to various degrees. I don't think anybody is an expert in even in one particular field. I'm sure there's something that we don't know in however much I might have got a PhD in something, but I'm sure there's I mean, one of the things that you discover when you do a PhD is that there's so much more to learn, right? So the whole idea of literacy is something that you can just park. We have resources, we have constraints, and that's common for everyone. So being able to read or write something is a constraint to certain degrees, but that doesn't define that individual or their talents or what kind of a resource that individual can be. So I would really challenge that idea that only literate people can support or practice learning. I mean, you just go around in the world and you will see that a lot of illiterate people are doing a lot more educated decisions than literate people. So just want to call that out, and also don't feel that there is a gap caused because of illiteracy. There's more gaps caused because of literacy and education than there is because of
I have a question for Asawari. Asawari, since you had done your schooling till 5th and then you moved into unschooling, what is it that you went through in terms of from an instruction based to an open learning, or to try and search your interests or passions? And at that time, I did like to know how your parents or the community was supporting you into doing or finding your own interest.
I thought I kind of covered that transition when I shared my story, and how my family supported. I mean, I felt like I did that, but I can just quickly summarize it. One was that I did take some time to to completely take charge of my learning. It took a transition period because I was not used to it immediately. But one of the biggest things that I got support from was a lot of exposure from the community, from my parents, from Aarohi, and that exposure helped empowered me and made me more curious, and also a lot of acceptance and a lot of space. I think all of these ingredients kind of empowered me to start taking my own decisions, and the space to fail, to make mistakes, to take up a subject and leave it, to take up a subject and work on it for a long time. So all that kind of things kind of supported me to transition from maybe a conducted learning to a self-directed learning.
Thanks, Asawari.
This idea of transitions, no? I mean, Asawari, how many transitions have you had?
Many, maybe. I don't know. I'm still transiting. Still transitions going on.
Building on Anjali's question, have you seen any differences in the way you deal with transitions? Can you share some thoughts on that from your experience? How you dealt with earlier and how you're dealing with transitions now?
Actually, to be very frank, when I was a child, I didn't know I'm going through a transition. I didn't even know what, like, it did not, like, I didn't know, okay, I'm leaving school and now I'm becoming a self-directed learner. So there's supposed to be a transition, something is happening. It was like cool. I was one day going to school, one day I'm not going. I'm sitting at home and doing something. It's now when I reflect as an adult, when I look back at my life, and because I look at how my journey has been, I'm able to say that yes, there was a transition. Or even the fact that when we shifted from the city, I've lived in the city for the first 13, 14 years of my life, and then we shifted to a village. So that was a transition. But at that time, it did not look like a transition. Cool, we're living here, next day we're living there. But then now when I reflect on it, yes, there was a transition. So uh, I think it's always been like, when I'm in the transition, I don't know it. Once I'm transiting, I think once it's done, I'm like, cool, yeah, I did that. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe now I think the difference now is that now when I'm going through a transition, I'm a bit more aware of. Yeah. Mhm.
So, Savi, there's a question: what challenges you face till date? Um, yeah, and more. I think challenges you have already outlined. But what would you like to share with, well, kids or even youth for today? Because I think more than the kids, at the kids stage, I think we are able to more openly give them the space to do the things that they want to do. But it's towards the older age, 14, 15, 16, we ourselves as parents perhaps get to what should I say, worried about, oh, what will they do as a profession, or what will they do in terms of yeah, deeper learning and stuff like that. We even termed it as higher education, but as if the other one was lower. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, what would you say to the youth, Asawari? I'm more sorry. I know Varsha maybe not really looking for this, but I'm just prompting you to add to that. What would you say to a 14, 15, 16, 18, 20-year-old who's under all kinds of environments and pressures, and so yeah, sorry, Varsha, I've kind of expanded on your thought. Yeah, Asawari, go ahead.
I think one of the challenges that I do face still sometimes is that even though I have a lot of confidence in what I'm doing, in the end, I am doing something that's quite different. And in a lot of way, in a way, it's kind of not normal compared to the rest of the world. It's not. So sometimes I do see that I start also thinking like that. Like sometimes that kind of thoughts I get influenced that, okay, I need to start thinking about money, or I need to start thinking about becoming independent. And then again, I go through the cycle of refocusing my energies on where I want to focus it on. So I think there is a challenge definitely when we want to focus on what we're interested in, but the whole world is focusing on money, on success, on looking beautiful in a certain way. I mean, they're like, if you look at it, there's so many conditionings that are being thrown on each one of us, especially I feel that a lot of times. And one of the challenges that I also face is that sometimes I get swayed away in social media. Like sometimes I lose the sense of who I am, and I start feeling low about myself because I start seeing that, okay, people are more, and I'm not just talking about in terms of money, or I'm not just talking about this in terms of just being an open learner, but I'm talking more about these challenges also being just a person, right? Just a youth or just a young person, or even just a human being. That sometimes that kind of challenges me, that when I start getting swayed with social media, and then I start like, okay, I'm not beautiful, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. And that does not necessarily have to be specific to me being an open learner, but yes, that kind of feeds in also sometimes. But I think I keep going through these cycles where I step back and I say, no, wait, what I'm doing is, I know what I'm doing. Why, and what they are doing, they let them do. There's nothing wrong or right about it. So I think, yeah, that is a real, and especially that kind of challenge, these conditionings that no, by this age we need to be earning, we need to be settled, we need to be successful, we need to have a house, we need to get married. These kind of benchmarks that are being set outside, to break that is a challenge. But I think that to do life the way I want to do, that's the biggest achievement out of that. So like I feel like I've broken a lot of those standardizations that are there outside. And though it's a challenge, it has been difficult for me sometimes, but on most days when I ask myself, it's difficult, but is it worth it? I feel like, yes, it's worth it. It's that, and that is what I would say to any youths, that even though it can be challenging to go like against what the normal thing is, whether what you're doing is worth it or not is the question. I mean, I don't know if I answered the question. I kind of went a little out of the place maybe, but that's how I've been experiencing life right now. So I'm just sharing it.
In some sense, you actually answered Pranav's question also, I think. Yeah. So one of the things that I feel about CoVersity and all that, and actually in some sense, this is a question more for Ratnesh and the CoVersity gang. The idea of CoVersity, when we say it's a shared interest and a deep dive, what exactly do we mean? Can you, can you in some sense expand on deep dive, Ratnesh?
Duji, my question was not answered. Can I?
Achha. Okay.
So I just wanted to get a perspective from Asawari. Like we had this question earlier in the meeting, like at this stage, if somebody has to decide on giving exams, prepare for exams, and which erstwhile the person never thought would require. So what is the state of mind a person is in? Because I would just like to know from Asawari, that's it. Would she be okay to give exams, prepare for it, go for degree, if the interest requires that?
So personally, I think I'm a kind of, I will find a way out of it, because I feel I would not be interested in anything as such in my life that would require me to have a degree. Like even if I get interested in healing, let's say, where I want to be a doctor, I know for sure I would not want to be an allopathy doctor. I'd probably go for something like alternative healing or something, and that would probably not require a degree that way. But definitely I think I'm capable of giving an exam if I need to. So if right now I need to give an exam, and if that's something that if I've decided, yes, this is something I want to do, I am ready to prepare for it and give it. And I do not regret not doing my 10th or taking my exams. And that's never been a regret for me. And the other thing that I feel is like there's a difference between having to take an exam and having to learn, like take a course. So suppose if right now, even if I want to change my interest and I want to learn something for a, I can also take a course and learn it and become skilled in it and actually make a profession out of it without actually having to so in a way take an exam. But I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between taking a course and learning something and getting a certificate for it, than having to write the 10th, 12th, that path. That path is one way, and just taking a course or taking a specific thing that I want to do. Suppose even if I want to become a doctor, to taking a specific thing and learning that's a very different thing. And I feel I'm capable of actually avoiding this 10, 12 path and going directly to the course. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. And if you allow me, I'll add to what Asawari is saying, is that it's, I think, easier to prepare for an exam than to question why is there an exam? Why do I need others to examine me? Why can't I do work and show that, yes, I am worth doing this, whether it's, let's say, fashion designing, or whether it's being a chef or whatever it is. So the whole idea is also to look at it not just in terms of, can I give an exam at any stage? I would say, can I question the system? Just because it is there doesn't mean it is good for me. And can I not question for the sake of questioning, but for the sake of creating other possibilities, other options, and seeing what suits me, what energizes me, what drives me. And I think that's what CoVersity is all about. It's not about whether you want to give an exam or not, but it's more about, hey, this is my interest. And do I want to take charge of this and go ahead and do stuff? And that is, I think, what Vijay was wanting to know. Hey, what do you do? Right? If that is what Vijay you meant in CoVersity, what does somebody do as a deep dive? Well, I would, the most interesting thing that somebody would do, or the cohort will do, as in the group of people will do, is first sit down and ask themselves, what do we want to do? What will really excite us? What kind of, I'm just using a generic term, what kind of projects, what kind of assignments, what kind of internship, what kind of value will excite me, which I can give to myself and to the world? Right? Where is it that what doors I want to knock, kind of thing, right? And I think if that, and then it will come out from the groups, what kind of stuff that they would like to do and how it energizes them. And because when it comes from them, not any ideas, I don't have ideas for them. I want them to come up and use their ideas for themselves. We're there to support, we are there to nudge, but mostly we are there to just be there. They know we are all there, the guides and the mentors, to bounce off different things. But more importantly, yeah, it's their ideas. So they will do all these kind of things. Somebody may say, I may want to just go for competitions and through competition show to the world that and learn also. Or somebody will say, I just want to go out and do lots of internships, see how different organizations are doing it, or apprenticeship with specific individual. And somebody will say, so that's for the cohort to figure out. And this figuring out itself is the education to me. Is this knowing that at any point of life, whether I am 20, whether I'm 25, 30, 50, I can think what is it that I want to do, and then the rest falls in place. Maybe I should stop saying figure it out and say it figures out itself when I know what I really want to do. The figures fall in place, kind of things.
No, I would actually the other direction. I would say trying to figure it out. Whether one figures it out or not is immaterial, but attempting to figure it out is what matters.
Yeah. Thanks.
Right?
Thanks. Yes. Okay, we have about 4 minutes, so we can take one maybe question from anybody who is interested. And before that, before we kind of close this this little meetup, once again, the request, or it's not even a request, it's like a plea kind of thing. This kind of a concept needs to be taken out to people, and we need everybody's support. And which is why I was saying, if you know anybody in your family, near family, far off family, friends, relatives, neighbors, whatever, who is in this age group, who would like to look at, hey, what are these exciting options where I can get into my interest? Let me drive my journey with obviously like passion or like interested people, the cohort. All right. So please connect them to us or us to them, because yes, it's a new thing in that sense for most people. And we require your help. The CoVersity concept requires help to reach out to people. So that's the request. Yeah. So please connect them with us, and sorry, and we can then take a last question. Sorry. Yeah, it's almost 7. So if there is no question, as Santosh, you at some point was raising hand, so you want to ask something maybe to Asawari. Last 2 minutes, you can grab these 2 minutes.
Sure. So I was just typing it out. I was saying that, see, I'm usually the most talkative person here. I always have questions and I always have counterpoints, but today I'm stunned. I mean, looking at your story, looking at your experience, and I can only say I envy your life. I have nothing more to say.
Super. So I think that's the perfect thought to end this little meetup with. Just a reminder, we meet every I'm once again putting our contact WhatsApp numbers. If you want to talk, Preeti is available to talk to you, whether about Aarohi or CoVersity. If you want to WhatsApp, that's the Aarohi WhatsApp number. So please feel free to connect with us. Asawari, if you are okay, you can share your number. People can connect with you on WhatsApp if they want to one-to-one, have some conversation with you. That's totally up to you. And you can definitely sell your business. So if you like her, want to know about her enterprise or entrepreneurship, you can connect with Asawari. Her business is called Dhanak. I'm like father selling the daughters. And also a reminder, so yes, so open learning is not rosy. Also a reminder that every Saturday now we'll bring one youth who is I will always say carving out. The journey is never fully carved out, as Dwiji was reminding. It's an ongoing rose and thorns and roller coasters and so on. So every week we will meet one interesting individual who is doing this, who is possibly somewhere around this age group, more the youth energy. So thank you, and we'll meet again next Saturday. Bye-bye. And thank you once again. Yeah, the details are there in the chat, Devendra. WhatsApp and she's just put that up. You can maybe copy. I'll keep the chat window open for some more time. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.